Hey there, Flosstube. Vanessa, the singing stitcher here, coming at you from my multi-purpose room in the basement. Today is Sunday, May the 8th, so happy Mother's Day to all of you who are mothers, whether it's children or fur babies. I know either of them can bring lots of joy and lots of heartache, so there we go. Anyway, according to YouTube, it has been I'm gonna say over a year since my last video. I think I shot it in January of 2021. I think that's what it said. Anyway, I'm a little out of practice, so hopefully this goes okay. Like I said, I'm in my multi-purpose room in the basement, and I have notes because I'm good with notes. So let's see. Life update. I am still working from home for the same company. I quite like working from home. I save all kinds of time and money on gas and commuting, and hey, in the middle of the day, if I want to do a load of laundry gets done. Henry the Beagle is doing quite well. He's about 7 years old, I think. Yeah. Oh, maybe closer to 8. Yeah, I think he's closer to 8 years old. In April, so just last month, we finally had the celebrations of life for my mother, who passed away a little over 2 years ago. We had one here in Alberta and then one in Toronto, Ontario for the family. Both of those went quite well. My husband did the slideshow, music, etc. My dad said a few words. That was about it. It was nice to get together with family and friends. Our band, Crow's Nest, hasn't played anywhere since February 2020. And I'm currently working on getting us some gigs. My husband, Jason, however, has been hired to play bass for other people for 5 or 6 gigs so far this year. And I really hate to say it, but I'm jealous. I really am. Like, I think it's great that he can play an instrument and he can be a hired gun for someone somewhere. It's a little hard to be hired as a hired gun when you're a singer, when, you know, the person who has the band is usually like the lead guitar player and singer, right? So it's hard for me to just get hired. Let's see. We are, however, my husband and I are performing on a weekly Facebook Live show called Good Morning Nanton Live on Saturdays. We have dubbed ourselves the Highway 533 Band, because that is the highway that you see out our front window. And by highway, I mean it's a 2-lane road. So yeah, we are the house band for the show, sort of like one of those late night talk shows. And we get to perform 2 or 3 songs a week. So we start the show off with a song, depending on how jam-packed the show is, we have a song in the middle, and then we finish the show with a song. We have recorded a cover of me singing Surrender by Cheap Trick, and that is actually played on our local internet radio station. Yes, here in Nanton, Alberta, we have euroradio.ca, so euroradio.ca. And we are currently looking to get our FM license. We just need to jump through some hoops. I'm actually on the board of that radio station, and we're having fun and learning all kinds of new stuff. Oh yeah, I may post that video of me singing Surrender by Cheap Trick. I should have said we not only recorded the song, but we recorded a video probably a year and a half after we recorded the song. I'm a bigger girl, as you may see. So standing in front of the camera seems a little awkward to me, which is weird because when I'm on stage, you can see all of me. Okay, house-related projects. We had our concrete patio extended, excuse me, so it can actually be used. So off our very small back deck, there were 2 concrete slabs that were pretty useless. Like one of them, that's where our barbecue was. Sorry, I have an itchy ear. I know, yeah, sorry, smaller than the elbow. Um, so yeah, we had basically 4 other slabs the same size as the 2 poured just to make it a bigger rectangle. And now we have some usable space outside that isn't on an uneven lawn. My dad had a pergola on his back deck, just one of those aluminum things with louvers that move up at the top. And so he was having something else put on his deck, so we dismantled his pergola and put it up on our new patio. And there's a table under it with chairs, and who knows, I may get some lights out there, whether they're like Edison bulbs or good old-fashioned patio lanterns. Anyway, that I think is our life update. I'm just gonna have a drink, and yes, I'm on a swivel chair. Drinking good old Canada Dry ginger ale. My background today is a blank wall with a window. A TV that doesn't get used but is in full working order, so for some reason we don't want to get rid of it. This over here is a cardboard box. Yeah, I could have got rid of it, but I think I can use it for other things. Anyway, moving on. Finishes in 2021. I'm pretty sure you've already seen one of these, because I think I showed it in the beginning of my video last year. I have this mounted. We have a frame for it, but it needs to be spray painted. Because, you know, if you don't have the color of frame you want, why not just use a frame you have, rough it up and spray paint it a different color? So this is Rosette from Stone Street Stitchworks. This is stitched on a 22 count beige, pebble gray, however you want to call it, Ada, and I'm using mercerized cotton from Steph Francis Threads, and it's lovely. Steph Francis is actually my aunt, and so I occasionally purchase threads from her, or she just sends me threads, which is quite nice. Anyway, this is going in I think it's a 12 by 12 frame, and this is on 22 count, so this mandala rosette is quite large. So yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna put that there. My next finish is Red Riding Hood from the Primitive Hare. And this was stitched on 18 count off-white using DMC and Gentle Arts threads. And you'll have to excuse it, it's been rolled up. And as I've done in others, anything that's supposed to be like a snowflake or is like a white accent that isn't like the face, I actually use silver DMC metallic just to give it a bit of bling. So yeah, 18 count off-white Ada. This was a fun stitch. Okay, I'm gonna put that. I have a table here and a chair there. And so as I'm done with the finishes, I'm laying them face down on the chair. Sorry about that. I should say I had 8 finishes in total in 2021. See, I'm really out of practice, even with notes. And 2 of them were carried over from 2020. So the rosette was carried over from 2020. That was started December 30th and finished January 3rd, 2021. Red Riding Hood was started January 7th and finished March 2nd, 2021. All right, number 3. This was started March 3rd and finished September 10th, 2021. It is The Dragon and the Fairy from Joan Elliott, and it is stitched on 14 count Spring Meadow from Stony Creek using DMC, Krennic, and Mill Hill beads. This is my second Joan Elliott. Oof. So there she is. In all her glory. She was fun. She took a while. I don't know what happened to my stitchy bug. It wasn't in full swing, but that's okay. All right, number 4 finish was actually the oldest project I had in 2021. It was started November 21st, 2020, and finished December 9th, 2021. And it is roses, or rose cuttings. And it is a kit from Creative Accents / Dimensions. It's the Walmart brand here in Canada. It is stitched on the 14 count off-white Aida, which is provided in the kit using the threads provided. And there it is. Basically, I had the roses completely stitched. I was stitching the beigey, shadowy background and got bored. And then forced myself to finish it and then do the back stitch. So once I, got rolling on the background and the back stitch, it didn't take too long. But yeah, they're quite pretty. All right, number 5. This was started on November 26th while I was sitting in my truck waiting for my dad to get out of an appointment. He was having a procedure done that required him to be put under. And so he shouldn't be driving afterwards. So I drove him, and then I sat in the hospital parking lot and started stitching. So yeah, it started November 26th and finished on December 9th. It is Gothic Window from Night Spirit Studio, and it is stitched on half a piece of 14 count red Aida using black DMC 310. There we go. That was pretty cool. I'm going to put it in an 8x6 frame. Hanging up for Halloween. I think it's cool. All right. My next finish was started on December 17th and finished on December 18th. It's Pine Cone, and it was a kit from Mill Hill. It is stitched on the 14 count perforated paper using the threads and the beads provided. I haven't actually done anything with it to finish it yet. There we go. I haven't put felt on it or made a hook out of it yet, so there we go. Cute little Christmas ornament. My next finish, so number 7, was started on December 19th and finished on December 20th. And it is Ruby Forest, which is another ornament kit from Mill Hill, and it is stitched on the 14 count perforated paper using the threads and the beads provided. There we go. Little Christmas bauble with the little brass tree, gold brass tree charm. Yeah, again, no felt or anything glued to it. That's a this year project, I think. Last but not least, number 8. This is let's see. It was started on December 11th and finished on December 30th, and it is called Turn of the Century Santa, and it is a pattern found in For the Love of Cross Stitch magazine, the September 1989 issue, and it is stitched on 14 count white Aida using DMC threads, and I have already framed it. Here it is. I had started this years and years ago. Oh, look, reflection. Sorry. Yeah, I had started this years and years ago, and I was much younger and not as experienced, and decided there was going to be too many color changes for me getting all those toys done. So I just unpicked it and reused the fabric for something else. But there we go. Turn of the century Santa. And it's in, it looks black, but it's a blue frame. I had another Santa sitting in this, but it was part of a series, and I wanted them all in the same frame, so I took it out of this one and put him in here because the blue and the blue of his coat. I thought it would be a good fit. Anyway, that was 2021 finishes. So let me put these ornaments over here and have a drink. Sorry. All right, moving on. 2022 so far. So far, I've had 12 finishes. Yeah. It is May the 8th, and I've had 12 finishes versus the 8 finishes of last year, so I think I may be what is considered obsessed. So, I have a pile here that is actually upside down, so I need to fix that. Oof. Sorry, just bear with me. Okay. Finish number 1. This was started on January 3rd and finished January 27th. It is called Winter Majesty Santa, and it is a pattern from For the Love of Cross Stitch magazine, the January 1993 issue. And it is stitched on 14 count light blue Aida using DMC threads. And it is framed. There we go. I figured because his coat was off-white that him being on blue would be a good idea. So I'm quite pleased with that. Yeah. And this is just a black frame. One of those black frames at Michael's that you can get in a package of 3. Just did an 8x10, which is quite fun. All right. Next up was started on December 31st, 2021, and finished January 28th, 2022. And it is Father Christmas. It is a pattern from For the Love of Cross Stitch magazine, the November 1992 issue. And it is stitched on 14 count white Aida using DMC threads. There we have Father Christmas. There was another one in this series that I did a number of years ago. I don't even know when. That I had stitched and framed up in that blue frame. And so now that the other 2 from that series are done, like I mentioned earlier, I wanted them all in the same frame. So there we go. All right. Finish number 3. This was started on February the 2nd and finished on February the 7th. It is called Elf with Lights, and it is a pattern from For the Love of Cross Stitch magazine, January 1993 issue. It is stitched on 18 count off-white Aida using DMC threads. Basically, at this point in time, I was going through my stash because I'm doing Stitch from Stash and blew my budget out of the water earlier this year, like completely out of the water, and I'll explain why later. So I was going through using scraps of Aida that I still had that were big enough for a piece. So here is Elf with Lights. I think he's quite cute with his apron, like his work apron, and yeah. Sort of got that early 90s color palette to it, but I like it. Him, I think he's going to be finished in a hoop. So yeah, right now he just sits in my to-be-framed drawer here. All right. Number 4. This was started on February the 8th and finished on February the 11th. And it is Jingle. And it is a Mill Hill kit. So another ornament. It is stitched on the 14 count perforated paper using the threads and the beads provided. So there you go. I need to put some felt on the back of it and make a hanger. There are enough of the red beads provided to make a really big hanger, but I've got some ribbon that I'll use. And then I can use those beads in another project. Yeah, that's what I do. So yeah, jingle, done. Okay. I need my phone for this one because I don't actually have it anymore. This piece was commissioned by a friend of mine. She wanted something for her mother's room in the home that her mom is living in. It was started on February 12th and finished on February 20th, and it is called Pansies in Teacup, and it's a pattern from start to stitch. It is stitched on a piece of 14 count off-white Aida using DMC threads. And, oh, that's really bright. How do you guys do this? There we go. Still a little too bright, but Pansies in Teacup. Oh. There we go. Anyway. It was fun. I actually got to use some colors of DMC I hadn't used yet, which is kind of strange, but anyway. Yeah, pretty little thing. I sent it to her unframed with an 8-inch hoop with instructions on how to do it. So yeah, she quite liked it. I hope her mother does too. Let's see, next up was started on February 20th. See, there's sort of a pattern here. I start and I finish and I immediately start another one. I'm obsessed this year to the point of, I think I spend too much time stitching. Anyway, started February 20th, finished February 21st. It is a pattern called Welcome If You Dare, and it is from Just Cross Stitch Magazine, Halloween 2017. And it is stitched on half a piece of 14 count red Aida using threads left over from kits. So earlier I showed you Gothic Window. This is the other half of that piece of red. Welcome If You Dare. So it was just like black and white threads left over from a kit. I liked it. In the magazine, it's done on a purple linen, but yeah, I thought red was quite appropriate. So yeah. Next up, another small that is stitched on a scrap of fabric. This was started on February 22nd, finished February 26th. It is Spells, and it is patterned from Just Cross Stitch Magazine, Halloween 2012 issue. It is stitched on a scrap of 14 count sage green Aida using DMC threads. And I'm just going to use the back of my notes. There we go. Spells. I thought it was a good use of the fabric. It fit. The colors are fine. So yeah. Okay, next up. This here was started on February 26th and finished on February 27th. It is called Ghosts, and it is a pattern from Just Cross Stitch Magazine, Halloween 2014 issue, and it is stitched on a scrap of 14 count sage green Aida using DMC threads and threads left over from kit. So probably the black, possibly the white on this one. So yeah. I thought it was pretty cute. And again, I'm quite happy with the use of the fabric. I've got frames for both of them already. One I think is a little 5x5, 4.5 by 4.5 type square, and the other one, it'll fit in a 4x6 frame, so 6x4, whatever. This is a good one. This is one that a friend of mine had sent me. Oh, I think she had sent me a picture of something similar a few years back and said, hey, I would really like this. And of course, I'm a bad friend. I never got around to it. I'm going to call this Don't Try to Explain Yourself to Idiots. And it is a pattern from Jaeger and Yarn or Jagger and Yarn. And it is stitched on 14 count off-white Aida using DMC threads. So yeah. Don't try to explain yourself to idiots. You're not the blank whisperer. Made oh so pretty by the flowers and the leaves, you know. And that will be finished in, I think an 8x8 square frame, because the fabric was too small to put in a hoop. But again, I'm using scraps, so I'm happy. Anyway, next up. This was started on March 9th and finished on March 20th. And it is poinsettia, whatever. It is a pattern from Holiday Reverie book by Leisure Arts. One of those old hardcover books that they put out. And it is stitched on half a piece of 14 count green Aida using DMC threads. It's a lovely pink poinsettia. Let me use my notes again as a background. There we go. See, I'm learning. And I think it looks great on the green. So that will likely be framed in an 8x10 frame, or it may fit in a hoop. We'll see. So yeah, I've got some Halloween and some Christmas stitching done already so far this year. All right, next up, this is the oldest project that I've finished. It was started September 10th, 2021, so not too old. I mean, in comparison to some of the others I've done in the past. And finished on April 9th, 2022. So, just about a month ago. This is The Maiden and the Dragon from Joan Elliott. And it is stitched on 14 count Valor from Picture This Plus using DMC, Krennic, and Mill Hill beads. Here she is. I believe when I finished her and I posted on Facebook so my friends could see, I wrote, "Holy beads, Batman." This is my second piece of Picture This Plus fabric I've ever stitched on. And it's really soft, like really soft. And some of these beads, let's see, you can't even really see them. Yeah, those are the petite beads, and they're not stitched over a square. It's needle come up at a hole, put the bead on, go down in that same hole. And because this is a 14 count, I guess, and it's quite soft. I don't want to say the weave is loose, but it's really soft. If I pulled too tight, those beads actually came back through the hole. So I had to be very careful with that. So yeah. And finish number 12. This was started on April 11th, 2022 and finished April 24th. It is Wicked Night from the Primitive Hair, and it is stitched on an 18 count pebble gray. At least that's what the tag says. It's really a beige to me, but I suppose river rock pebbles can be beigey gray. Anyway, and it is just stitched using DMC 310, called for. Hang on. There we go. Wicked Night. Basically, I started this because I wanted to take something quote-unquote easy to stitch with me on my trip to Toronto. And I figured if all I had to do was count and not worry about color changes, that this was a good one. I really did not get a lot done in Toronto, though. That's fine. I finished it here. It was quick once I got going here at home. So yeah, that is the last finish so far this year. And wow, I've got a pile to put away on my chair here. Alright. So far this year, I've had 6 new starts, which I have stacked behind me. So just, you get to see the back of my pretty little head here as I grab these. Oops, I can go there. So the first new start, this was started on April 25th. It is called Santa's Secret. It is a kit from Dimensions, and it is stitched on the 18 count Aida using the threads provided. So I'm sure a lot of you have already seen this, but this is Santa's Secret. It is the second project I have ever started up in the corner here. I'm usually a middle starter, but because I could start in a corner, I challenged myself to do so. No regrets. Just learning. And that is what I've got done so far. Now, unfortunately, this part here, I had a lot of this stitched. I had a lot of it filled in with the cream. And it was time to start adding the darker grays. And I realized I was out by 1 stitch. And I didn't want to have to fudge it. So I actually ripped it all out. In fact, I cut it and ripped it. And so found color matches in DMC. Because now I don't have enough thread for the project to finish it. So yeah, it got put in timeout after that. So yeah, Santa's Secret. Now, I don't use fancy project bags. My project bags are Ziploc bags. So I'm pulling things out of Ziploc bags right now. My next new start was for Mania. Yes, I'm participating in Mania. I don't know how many I'm going to start. I kind of have startitis. But I also seem to be rather focused on one of these new starts right now. So this was started on May the 1st. It is called Call of the Wilderness, and it is a kit from Dimensions, stitched on a 16 count dove gray Aida using the threads provided. And the threads were not sorted, so my mother-in-law was here in town, and she helped me sort threads, and I just made my own cards. So this is Call of the Wilderness, and I actually did start in the corner again. I really don't have much of it done. I put in 2 yeah, 2 of the 6 strand lengths of the blue. It's just half stitch, so I'm pretty quick. But there we have what I've got done so far. I like it. I'll get back to it. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah. Here's when you start hearing plastic, because these I want to put away. Back into their snazzy project bags. Alright, the next one started again on May the 1st, which was, I don't know, it was Sunday or Saturday. Sunday, I think. Yeah. Basically, I put in an hour, 2, 3, I don't know, on each of these. Probably closer to 2 or 3 hours. It is another kit from Dimensions. It is called Exotic Butterflies. And I think in one of my previous videos I had told you guys I actually owned this kit quite a while ago, and for some reason decided I would never stitch it. And so I sold it or gave it to someone else. And then within a year to 18 months after the fact, I was like, wow, that was stupid. So I actually bought it again. Exotic Butterflies. This is stitched on 18 count navy blue Aida using the threads provided. I do have a fairly decent start on this. This was a middle start. And there we have it so far. Again, putting this away in a Ziploc bag. They're cheap, and you can reuse them. All right. Start number 3 so far this year. Third start for, start number 4 for the year. Wow. Third start for Mania. That's where I was getting the, anyway. This was started on May the 1st, and it is Butterflies and Blossoms kit from Dimensions. It is stitched on 14 count light green Aida using the threads provided. Just give me a moment. Here we go. Butterflies and Blossoms. This was a middle start. And that is what I've got done so far. There we go. And again, that was probably 2 or 3 hours. I don't know. But yeah. Fairly good start on that middle butterfly. Lots more to do, but that's okay. I don't mind. And this Aida is like super stiff, and it almost feels sharp at the corners. Yes, I know I can wash it. I have washed Aida from kits before that has been super stiff. I just wash it in cold water, in my washing machine, in a lingerie bag. I don't put it in the dryer because in case of shrinkage. I hang it to dry, and it still comes out that stiff. So anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4th Mania start, and start number 5 so far this year is Butterfly Collection, and it is an old Dimensions kit. Oh, yep. When I say old Dimensions kit, I mean the kits that were marketed under the Sunset name. But if you look down here, it says Dimensions Inc. This is copyright 1992. Now, you'll notice here there's a border, and it's that early 90s, late 80s, southwestern-ish that I'm really not into. And there's actually like words backstitched in here of the kind of butterflies, but I don't think I'm going to stitch the words, and I know I'm not going to stitch that border. So when I'm finished, I'm going to see if I feel like it needs a border. And if it does, I'll come up with something. So this was another kit that I had to sort the threads for. So my mother-in-law came in quite handy and was quite helpful with that. So this is stitched on 14 count white Aida, and it's an old school kit, so I'm following the instructions using 3 strands of thread over 1. So it's got some really excellent coverage. And I've got that many done. Quite pleased with that. No back stitching done yet. So that is 6 of the 10 butterflies in the pattern. And for some reason, like, I am just going gangbusters on this. I don't understand why. I think, honestly, because the colors are so bright, they look fake. Or childish or something. I don't know. But I did another one years ago. It was a butterfly kit, Dimensions, Creative Accents, Butterfly Perfusion, I think it was. And I thought the same thing as I was stitching it. I thought, this is really juvenile. But when I finished it, I loved it. So once the back stitch has been added, I think I'm really gonna like it. So for some reason, this is my go-to. I don't know. Next up, for Star Wars Day, May the 4th. Another Dimensions kit. This is Luke and Leia. Oh, wow. I pulled that right out. That was not good. Basically, A New Hope movie poster. Just smaller, not as detailed. So yeah, it started on May the 4th. It, again, like I said, kit from Dimensions. Stitch on 14 count black Ada using the threads provided. So Luke and Leia. A lot of that is half stitch. So I don't see it taking super duper long, but we'll see. This is the stiff Ada that I took the time to wash, and it's still stiff. Oh. Let's see if this helps. Oh, piece of thread. There we go. That is what I've got done so far. Basically, I started in the middle, did what I could of that tan type color, and then counted to where I could start the half stitch in the blue so I could find my way all the way over to this side and then go down. Because this pattern is on 2 pages and they did not gray like the 2 or 3 rows from the previous page on either of them, which I find helpful if I'm doing a pattern on multiple pages from a kit. So yeah, that isn't done, so it kind of makes things slightly awkward, but whatever. So yeah, once I get to the edge, I can drop down to the next page. So that is it for new starts so far this year. There may be, because I think all I have is bigger projects now. Yeah. You'll notice for Mania, I chose kits because it's all there. I have a number of kits, so I'm not too worried about it. Other possible Mania starts is another kit. It's Dimensions. It is called Winter Cardinals, and it is stitched on a 14 count Dove Gray Ada. And that is what it looks like. I have not started a single thing yet. Again, it was an old kit, so I had to start the threads. This is copyright 2006. So it's not super old, but old enough. So that is that for what has been stitched, what has been started. Another possible new start could be a Mirabilia or Nora Corbett, because I went through my pattern stash. I have quite a few, and I went through my fabric stash and spent, I don't know, 4 hours trying to match fabric with a pattern. Is the fabric big enough? You know, if I found a color that was great, was the fabric big enough, yes or no? Kind of how it went. But yeah, that is that. I now kind of have a mess, but that's okay. I think the last time I told you I would give you a tour of my multi-purpose stitch room / library / treadmill storage multi-purpose room. So I'm going to do that now. So you're going to see a bit of the mess. And you're going to see... Hi, Henry. How are you? I have a visitor. So yes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Oh, you're sitting on a music stand. So I'm going to pick up the iPad from the music stand and turn the camera around and hopefully not make any of you seasick while I move you around the room and show you what is going on here. So, hit the screen. Uh-oh. Can I actually turn the camera? Oh, do not cover that. Hang on. We may have... Ooh, I'm dark now. Don't get dark. No, get bright. There we go. What's going to happen is I'm going to stop this and then do a tour of the room video. That's what I'm going to do. So thank you for watching, subscribing, liking. I know I don't do enough of these videos to garner a lot of views. I am really going to put in an effort to try and do videos more often. I can't promise once a month. I can't promise every 2 months. But we are at 47, well, almost 47 minutes. 46, 52, 53, 54. There was a lot to show you. And so it's, do I wait a year and show you this? That's a lot of work. Or do I do a video that's 10, 15 minutes every month or 2 months? I don't know. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to pause this, stop this, whatever, flip the camera around, and I will give you a tour of this room. Okay, bye.